NATO leaders are meeting in London for a summit to mark the alliance's 70th anniversary. But the mood is far from festive.
Well, there are major disagreements among members on issues such as military spending and the war in Syria. French President Emmanuel Macron has also criticized NATO's declining influence, saying it is suffering from brain death.
US President Donald Trump has called Mr Macron's criticism very insulting. Mr Trump has also repeatedly argued that the US contributes too much to NATO's military bill. Our correspondent in London, Natalie Powell, with the biggest issues facing NATO on its 70th birthday.
Possibly not the position that NATO expected itself to be in on its 70th birthday, of course, with many questioning the future of the alliance. And a lot of those questions are going to be raised in the building behind me. A special conference has been set up where there will be lots of spokespeople from governments and, of course, from the alliance itself, discussing where NATO is likely to be in the next 70 years. Now, of course, this comes in the context of Emmanuel Macron, the French president, describing the alliance as brain dead in an interview with The Economist. And he's also suggested that the principal ideology of aggression against one means aggression against all is at risk, clearly referring to Turkey and what's going on in Syria with that comment. There is a big issue around funding for NATO, and US President Donald Trump has previously threatened to pull out of the alliance because he says that the US is essentially giving the lion's share of funding. Now, that has had some effect, though, and we've seen Europe, Canada and Turkey all promising to increase their defense spending to the tune of $400 billion by 2024. But of course, still lots of big questions being raised over the future of this defense alliance. All eyes are likely to be on three leaders, actually. President Emmanuel Macron of France, Turkey's Recep Tayyip Erdogan and US President Donald Trump. Of course, with tensions growing between those three nations over Syria, with the US withdrawal of troops without discussing that with the NATO alliance in the first place, and of course Turkish aggression against Kurdish forces in Syria. Big questions are being raised between those three leaders. We've seen tit-for-tat exchanges between France and Turkey over the past few weeks leading up to this NATO summit, and of course US President Donald Trump involved in all of that as well.